I'm a small town kid born with a big city spirit. I choose to play a lot of awesome roles in life: mom, wife, entrepreneur, CEO, board member, investor, and mentor. 17 years ago, I founded a marketing consultancy, and ever since, my husband JR and I have been building our careers and our family on the exact same timeline. Yep, that means 4 kids, 3 businesses, 2 careers, all building towards one life we love. When I discovered I could purposefully embrace all of these ands in my life, it unlocked my world. And I want that for you too. I'm Tiffany Souter, and this is Scared Confident. Okay, I was just exporting and I'm like, we got to push record and jump on the microphone and record this conversation. So I was sharing with Brianna and Sam. Brianna is our intern and Sam is like all the things to me. She helps behind the scenes and helps me do a bunch of stuff with Scared Confident in my life. But I was just saying last night, one of our devices, I'll try to keep the like witch daughter out of this, but one of our devices was like ping, 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 just like pinging all night long. I was like, what is happening? So I go over and one of my girls' friends was trying to get her to call them. And so I texted her back and said like, hey, this daughter's getting ready for bed. Do you need something? She's like, no, I just wanted to talk about what happened today. So then I ran upstairs and said to my daughters, hey, what happened today? And she said, well, my friend thought that I said something bad about her, but I didn't actually say it. I was like, oh, what did she think you said about her? And she said, well, she heard somebody said that I called her a tryhard. I was like, a tryhard? What's a tryhard? And so that I was explaining this and Brianna was like, oh yeah, I totally know what a tryhard is. And so there's all these new words that these kids are saying about each other. And I thought this was so interesting. So we're going to record and Brianna's going to kind of give us like the high school urban dictionary of what is going down right now with the kids. I think it's interesting. I think it's helpful. And I think that as parents, I don't know, we kind of need to know what's happening. So we're going to go through this and we'll see how it goes. So tryhard, let's talk about what that is. And then we'll go to the pick me. I learned about that one too.
So a tryhard is someone who like basically tries hard on things that don't necessarily need to be, like much effort needs to be exerted.
So like what's an example?
It's also kind of like a kiss up too, in a sense that's like if you go up to a teacher and you're like, thank you so much, like stuff like that, people be like, oh, you're being a tryhard, like you're being a sweat or something like that. Like or if you're doing a homework assignment and like you have to color a paper and you're like doing some ombre or something like that you don't really need to be doing. Like that's an example of like being a tryhard.
Okay. And so then Brianna just introduces this word sweat, which is kind of like slang for the slang.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you're trying hard, clearly you're sweaty.
Yeah. Yes.
And so then that's a sweat, which is like shorthand for try hard.
Yeah. Like you're being a sweat. Yeah.
Like, so would you ever say that to one of your friends?
My brothers say it to me a lot.
To you?
Yes.
Because they think you're like a goody two-shoes?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like, if I say, oh, like, I'll tell my parents, like, oh, hey, like, I just unloaded the dishwasher so they know, like, I'm actually helping out around the house. My brother would be like, stop being a sweat. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. So it isn't necessarily derogatory. I mean, it kind of is like, get over yourself a little bit. But
yeah.
Okay. So then the other thing they told me about is what was the other one?
Pick me.
A pick me. Yeah. I can't even remember. I have to like write them down. I need to write them. A pick me.
Yes.
So that's another category. So tell us what that is. And use it like in a context.
It's more of like kind of junior high girls where they're like at that awkward stage with guys where like their guys no longer have cooties, but like it's kind of becoming socially acceptable to be friends with guys, but then like not everyone is at that same page. You say it to your friends, like, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like you're being such a pick me. Or like she's a pick me, and that basically means like it's a girl who's going out of her way to get like a guy's attention. Like a lot of the common examples are pick me girls. They'll say like, oh, I just like being friends with guys because it's less drama, or like I don't really wear makeup, like I'm just not that girly, like stuff like that. Like that's a pick me girl.
So I was asking Brianna, I was like, so is that like what we would have said slutty? And you were like, it's really not. Like that's different. It's more just like they want to be in the circle.
Yeah, they want to be like clicky with the guys, but they don't know how to do it. It's like they change their personality around the guys, and it's like that. It's just it really describes like junior high because it's like they don't really know how to interact like with
Mhm.
guys. Yeah, it's kind of the awkward stage.
Yeah, I'd say we got a full cup of
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah.
My girls are great, but it's just funny. They definitely are. And you're right, it happens at different stages. Like I can see my 8th grader, some of her friends can be friends with boys.
Yes.
Some don't know how to do that, but they like them. And so they
Yes.
like just want to be boyfriend. And some are still not quite sure like where to place it. Like
Yes.
it's really very different zones. It's true. Okay, so what are some other ones that we need to know about? We old parents here.
So there's my favorite is a bot, and there's also one in an NPC, and an NPC is a non-person character in video games, and it's basically like it's like that kid in your class who just like says things, and you're like where are you from? Like, are you real? Like, it's I mean, not to like stereotype, but it's usually like a band kid or something, like a kid who's not in with all the social trends kind of, and they always just say the weirdest things, and you're like, you're such a bot, or like that kid's an NPC.
So do they know that you're saying that about them? And they're like, yeah, I wear that with pride. Or it's like, no, they wouldn't know that you're saying that about them.
I mean, yeah, they'll probably know. Like, you'll probably be like, hey, like, you're such an NPC or something like that. Or like, I call my friends a bot a lot. Like, when they, like, if you ask like a stupid question, it's like, you're a bot. Like, say, like, we're at like an Italian restaurant or something, and my friend's like, oh, are you going to get like pasta? And it's like, that was a bot question. Like, yes, I'm going to get pasta. It's an Italian restaurant, like stuff like that.
That's so funny. It's so funny. And is that a high school word, or you think middle schoolers use that too? The bot NPC, because I haven't heard those.
I think a lot of the junior high kids say like jit instead of bot.
Jit.
But I think jit is more like
jit,
like my homeboy, almost something like that.
Okay.
I think it's NPC. I'd say it's more like universal, like between ages.
That's so funny. I'll have to ask the girls if they know what that is. Okay, so any other Urban Dictionary things that we need to know? You say rad? Did you say rad?
No.
No, never rad.
No, not rad.
Oh, you about died on the
that's
rad.
sick.
Sick.
Yeah, that's sick. Like if something is cool, it's sick.
And would you type that?
Yes.
Okay, and how would you spell it if you said that?
S-I-C-K. You spell it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So like if a friend texts you something, you're like, that's sick.
Yeah.
S-I-C-K. Never rad.
No, rad is not.
What about if you're looking in the mirror and you love the outfit that you're wearing? What would you say?
That's hot.
That's hot.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that might just be more of like
it's very girls, I feel like.
Yeah,
right now.
like it's also kind of a way, like if you get an A+ on a test, you're like, that's hot.
Okay, so another thing that I think is very unique to what I see playing out on social media with girls right now is these like posting pictures of yourself where you're like, I really love how this represents who I am. Like this feels really good. I feel like I look hot and whatever. And then friends being like, you're such a babe, like you're amazing, like sexy. I don't know. What would people say? Like to go to your Instagram and actually read some because I feel like it happens to you
it's
sometimes.
like a social norm that if you're friends with someone, you comment on their Instagram post. Like it's just something you do.
It's not even a norm. I feel like it's kind of an expectation.
Yeah, 100% is an expectation.
Because would you notice if one of your best friends didn't post on one of your things where you're like, look at me being hot, as like, oh, she's actually jealous? Jelly.
Actually,
would you say jealous or jelly?
Jealous.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, like this one girl, we used to be friends, and she'll like my post, but she won't comment on it. And it's like, yeah, she's jealous.
See, it's like an unwritten thing.
Yes.
That is not a thing in the 40s. Sam's in her 30s. Not a thing. It's not a thing for us, is it? Okay, let's see what people say on Brianna's. That color, disco mommy, so red, so here for
mommy.
the red lip. Mommy.
That's a new thing.
What's mommy?
It's like an endearing word. It's like,
yeah. Are they lactating?
No. It's nothing like that. Like I know that can kind of have like a weird connotation, but it's I don't know like the good way to describe it. It's like
affectionate.
Have you heard the like wifey like that?
No.
Like she's my wifey. Like she's beautiful, she's everything. It's kind of
high
like that.
trust,
Like yeah, like oh, she can do everything. Like she's mommy.
So you would say about one of your friends, you're like my wifey?
Yeah, I would say well, wifey's kind of faded. It's now
Okay,
it's mommy.
It's
Like
mommy. Okay. So disco mommy. Here we go.
yeah.
Bae.
Bae, yeah, that's just like
Bae.
a common
like,
one, yeah.
Model, icon, legend. She is the moment. Stunning, gorgeous. Another mommy with an E at the end. Love, love, love. You look so good. So pretty. I just noticed this is my queen is beautiful. I don't think that's your boyfriend who wrote that. Maybe. That's Jones.
Oh no, that's one of my friends. Yeah, and if your boyfriend like
okay, so what can he do or not do?
oh no, he has to comment on your Instagram post.
Okay.
Otherwise it's like, oh, they're either not on good terms or they're like done or like he clearly doesn't really care about her.
So what is the acceptable period of time that this poor guy has to find out that you have posted a new Instagram thing?
He just, I mean, I guess there's not like a certain time. He just like has to comment.
But there's a certain time because if it's a week, that's too late.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like within the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like then before it would go unnoticed, I'd say. And then if he really.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has 120 minutes.
And if he wants to go above and beyond, he would repost it. Okay. On his Instagram story.
And then it's like, yeah. And would you like him to add a comment on it?
Maybe like a heart eyes. Like,
okay.
I mean, my boyfriend will repost like Joe Burrow, but not me.
Joe Burrow, but not you. He's got hashtag priorities.
Yes, priority.
Hashtag. We need to bring him on the pod and give him a little lesson.
Yeah, I give him crap for that.
So Senior Sunday. Also tell me about this.
So, I mean, you pay a pretty dime to get some senior pictures. So, and obviously, like, you really only post them like during your senior year. So people have just made Sunday the day that you typically post like your senior pictures. And so people usually hashtag like Senior Sunday, and that's just like a given day that you can post your senior pictures.
But like for lots of like you might do it 15 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Or like the whole senior year.
If you post, yeah, you have to kind of like strategically space it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and you kind of, I mean, you can't always say Senior Sunday. Like, you got to get creative with it.
Okay. So, we used to print them out and give them to each other. I'm suddenly having this realization of like, yeah, if you got your pictures taken, the little wallet size. And I had this little cardboard box that I carried around. No, I'm not kidding. Here's what we would do when we got our pictures taken. We would take these leather folios, like, you know, like those trifold things that like a poster board, except they were like pleather. And you would take your pictures to school and show people. And they would help you pick out which ones you were going to get made into wallets. Because the ones that you got made into wallets were going to be the ones that everybody had. And then when like the popular boy in school would get his senior pictures, it would be like lightning. Like XYZ person brought their senior pictures to school today. And you wanted to get, because they didn't necessarily have enough for everybody. And so then if you got one, it was like hot that you got one.
Oh, so it was kind of like a Valentine's Day card.
It was kind of like a popularity thing.
Yeah.
Of like whose senior pictures you ended up with.
Yeah.
And then whether or not you had to give them one of yours for one of theirs, or if you just got one. Like you were really popular if you could get somebody's senior picture without having to give them one of yours.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like social, you know, it's like,
yeah.
I guess it's like akin to Instagram following. Because I've also learned, like, if you follow me and I don't follow you back, that's like a social sign today. Yeah. Because I had some people like E3ers who followed me and I didn't follow them back because I don't want them to think I like am trying to crawl into their personal lives. I don't know. And like 18 months later, we were like some social thing bowling and they were like 4 people like, yeah, you don't follow me back. And I was like, oh my word. Like I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, Instagram has this thing where it says like follow back.
Yes.
And so it gets kind of awkward in those settings. Like people will like, if it's someone who like posts you and then you're like, oh shoot, like I don't follow them. And it's kind of like, it gets awkward because it's like you're friends with them, but then it's like, oh, you've waited this long to follow them. And so it's kind of like,
and now they're going to notice that I just followed them.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't notice that I don't follow them.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, and so now if I push follow back, they'd be like, we went all those months when I thought
Yes.
we were on the same level.
Yes, and
And now
it's
I know we're
awkward.
not.
Yeah, you can see if, someone like, when someone follows you, and so it's like, can't go unnoticed, unfortunately.
Do you ever, you can block people without unfollowing them? Do you ever do
Um,
that?
no, I think it just, like, automatically unfollows them, but they don't get
Notified.
notified.
I
Yeah,
think that's
it
true.
doesn't show.
So you don't ever post of you dancing, but you dance a lot. Why is that?
Well, I mean, a lot of my friends do, like, some of them do. I might post, like, one of our dances at the end of the season because it's my last season, but for me, if it's not perfect, then I can't post it because then it's like it's kinda like your one chance to show everyone what you do almost and, like, how you dance, and so if, like, you mess up on something, it's like, well, that's what everyone's gonna see. I mean, especially for, like, the dance team, like, obviously, no one comes to our competitions, and so it's not like they've seen you do a routine multiple times, so when you're posting, like, one routine once, it's like, that's it. That's how you're known as a dancer or something like that, like, that's your skill set.
Interesting. So, but you don't even post like stories of you like at dance practice. Do you use stories on Instagram? Is that a thing that you use or like, no, that's what old people use?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen a lot of people older than me, they definitely use their stories almost like as a vlog, like, they use their Instagram stories,
Mm-hmm.
whereas younger kids use, like, their private stories on Snapchat as a vlog. So, like,
Oh,
I'll, like, repost stuff on my Instagram story, but, like, that's kinda all I do for my
mm-hmm.
Instagram story.
How old were you when you got on social media? Do you remember?
I got Instagram when I was, like, 11, and then I didn't get Snapchat until I was, like, 15.
And did you go through periods where you had to kind of learn like these people's posts are not their real life, or have you always had perspective on that?
I have always had perspective on that. I think that's that can be a huge strain on young girls because it's like you on social media, you post, like, the best picture of yourself, like, the one where your skin looks the best, like, a lot of times, like, Instagram influence posts, like, if they post, like, bikini pictures or something, it's, like, where they look the most toned and stuff, and that
Mm-hmm.
can really affect, like, the self-confidence of younger girls, and I do think social media, like, algorithms are getting better and people are being more open about, like, "Hey, this isn't all body types, like, not everyone is like a twig," you know?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that might be one of the most important things about social media is knowing that it's okay. Like, I feel like you have to be kinda confident with yourself in order to be able to, like, go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and, like, I guess you just have to be able to understand that what they post is what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been edited, it's been, like, filtered and all this stuff, and they don't look like that all the time. I don't really know where, like, my inner self-confidence came from. I've just always known, like, as long as I feel good, then, like, I like the way I look. I think it also kinda helped with, like, from dance, from, like, staring at yourself in a mirror, like, for, like, 4 hours, at a time, like, you either learn to love yourself or you kinda always wanna change something, and I think I've just known that, um, it is okay, like, you're not gonna look like everyone else does on Instagram, but I also, like kinda when I went on Instagram, I didn't really follow any of, like, all these other girls, like, who were prettier than me, like, I just followed my friends, basically. Because I feel
Good
like when
journey.
I had Instagram, it wasn't necessarily about, like, proving your worth, it was just about posting what you wanted to post, but now it's kinda becoming like, "Oh, I have to prove to everyone, like, I'm pretty," or, like, "I'm toned," or, like, I'm all this," but
So I have been really slow on the technology train with my girls. They're Aubrey was for sure the last to get a phone. She's 14 and still doesn't have any social media. Um, what do you think kids miss out on if they're not on social media? Like if you were to be Aubrey's advocate and say like, I'm not saying you think I should let her to get social media, but
no,
what
yeah.
what is she missing out on? Because I don't want to take the good part of it out of her life, but I
Yeah.
do want me and her family and my husband and I to be the strongest like signal in her
Yeah.
life right now. And I don't want to compete with her peers
Yeah.
on social media and I don't want to compete with these perfect strangers, that
Yeah.
are influencers.
There definitely is a fine line. I feel like the things that, because all my friends had Snapchat when they were like in 5th grade, and I didn't get it until freshman year, and like I had to beg my mom. And I think the only thing I missed out on Snapchat was like it'll show you memories, and like a lot of them have funny memory. Like looking at it now, like when they're 18, like looking back when they were in 5th grade, like all the funny selfies they took or something, it's funny now. I do wish I had more of those pictures, like funny pictures of myself I can look at now and be like, oh my gosh, I thought I looked so cute, or like I thought I was funny, or stuff like that. Um, and I'd say in like 7th and 8th grade, a lot of people would talk to like their crushes on Snapchat, and I couldn't do that obviously because I didn't have Snapchat, so that was kind of a downside. But also, I wasn't on my phone a lot, and a lot of people who had Snapchat were always on their phone.
Totally.
So I am grateful for that. I was never the kid who was like sucked in on their phone because I didn't have like Snapchat where I was like talking to people like 24/7.
It is crazy. I see, like, we were in line for pizza the other day, and there was 3 preteens in line, all on their phones. And I know it's Snapchat because the speed at which they're like
Oh yeah.
thumbing around on their screen is lightning.
Yes.
It's crazy. And they were totally disengaged from the environment around them, from the smell of the pizza, from their family, from their younger sibling. And that is my thing. I'm like, I feel like the speed of entertainment that is coming in front of you guys, real life cannot compete with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just the like pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop. But there's this like depth of knowledge. There's this patience. There's this relationship. There's this like sense of belonging that I think just gets sacrificed when it comes into their lives too early. And, I get to experiment 4 times on 4 different kids.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will get harder and harder with each kid to like kind of fight
Mhm.
gravity. But, you say like, I don't have memories in my phone, but you do have memories with your family. You do
And
have
like I could
memories with
take it
your
on like
brothers.
the camera app. Like
Yeah.
I still have that. Like I did.
Just
Yeah.
taking pictures of everything. Yeah, the girls you were also telling me about Be Real, and that's like definitely making a wave into the middle school right now too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just interesting. It's very imperfect.
There's no right answer, yeah.
No. There's no right answer. I do feel like there's a few wrong ones though.
Yeah.
I wish that there's in places there was just more moderation about how young some of these kids are getting exposed to this stuff, and it's crazy. But anyway, not my job to parent the world, just the 4 people that I have. Can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Okay. What at this stage in your life, because Scare Confident, poor Brianna, she's like, I thought I was just coming in for a random day to help with things. You're going to be graduating in a few months. You're going to IU. What does fear say to you at this stage in your life? You're 18, right? 18?
Yes.
All your clothes are from Goodwill.
Yeah, either Goodwill or Lululemon, no in between.
That's right.
Yes. I'd say fear of change and being comfortable with change. I mean, I am excited about my future, but I'm also kind of scared to like leave my family. Like I'm really close with my family, and I am only like an hour and a half away from my house, but still like I'm kind of scared how that'll look, and I'm scared on how my siblings will take it, because I know my sister, like, especially when she's tired, she'll start crying, be like, I'm gonna miss you so much when you're gone. And I don't want my family's routine and life to be like completely uprooted because I'm gone. And I'm kind of scared on how my parents are gonna react like on move-in day. Like I don't really want to see them upset because it's just gonna make me sad. And I am kind of scared of growing up and like leaving my home that's now going to be like in a concrete dorm instead of like my room that I've grown up with my whole life. And I think there is a lot of fear, but once you kind of get past that fear and just being excited for the future, because there's so many new opportunities that college brings and living on your own brings, that it's just kind of being excited for the unknown instead of fearing it.
It's a muscle that is a constant in life. And I think the stage that you're at, the bridge that you're getting ready to cross, begins this like bravery of like, how do I leave comfortable to move into the unknown to get to something that has promise of better? And it isn't always, but the willingness to kind of pack your bag and keep moving forward it's a total muscle in life. And here you are at 18, but I see people at different places decide that they're just going to stay because comfortable looks easier. And so I'm excited for you in the next few months.
You.
And thanks for doing this.
Yes,
like impromptu. I was like, hey, let's just push record and do it. So awesome. Thanks, Brianna.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Scared Confident. Until next time, keep telling fear. You will not decide what happens in my life. I will. If you want to get the inside scoop, sign up for my newsletter. We decided to make content for you instead of social media algorithms. The link is waiting for you in show notes, or you can head over to tiffanysauter.com. Thanks for listening in.